Hi there. Well, we're back at it, reading you Dirty Numbers. We are on chapter 5, episode 3, and just in case you don't know, there's lots of bad words, lots of smutty situations, but it's all real, it all took place, it all happened. So here we go, back into the book. Calls were flying in, all 6 lines. Some new callers, some time wasters, some regulars. I was definitely going from one to another, spending just enough quality time with them so they'd think I hadn't forgotten about them. By now, I was a thoroughbred phone sex operator. I was adept at knowing just where I left off with my various on-hold clients. And what magazine did you see our ad, Simon? The Wall Street Journal, came a first-time heard reply. I gave him credit for that. Could you hold just a moment, Simon? I asked, then didn't wait for his approval while I put him there. Yeah, Jessie was getting dominant. No, it was just my office way of keeping the herd corralled. I went to the next guy. Hello, didn't forget about you, I said rather pleasantly. So, did you say the phone was listed in your name? Yes, it is, came the answer I was hoping for. Let's get into your info quickly then, I encouraged him. Your last name? Garfield. First name? W.L. W.L.? Yeah, that's the name I go by. Hold, please, I said, and had a brief thought. Why do I even say please? What part of my dirty soul, my soiled being, even had manners enough left to say that? And I even found myself saying, the charge is $55, sir. Sir? Isn't that a word you'd associate with respect? I should be saying, the charge is $55, perv. And when the transaction is completed, over and over I say, thanks for calling, or thanks for placing an order. Like my thanks gets us any extra bonus miles. I could just as easily say, thanks for continuing to ruin my personal life with your sick fantasies. They didn't care. They just wanted that 38 DDD. But I never said what I wanted to say. The phones were tapped, and I had recently learned that was not a fake security measure, as the video cameras had been. But oops, so much for the brief thought. I picked button number 3, but it was a dead line. But once I set down the receiver, it came back to life and rang immediately. But the caller, he didn't stand a chance of immediate service. Hello, I'll be right with you. Hold, please. And I went to line number 4. It was the operator. They're pretty patient. I wonder if they have a bunch of wildly ringing phones in front of them, all begging to be answered at once. But even if they did, I bet a lot of them are just, I have a collect call from Bobby to Grandma and Grandpa. I have a correctional call from a, let's do that again. I have a collect call from a correctional institute. Oh, shoot me now. Frankie. We had at least 3 calls a day from different prisoners in different jails, but Frankie would call any time that he got near a payphone. Caller, state your name. As usual, Frankie came out in the same whining, begging voice as always. I was about to automatically deny him. He wouldn't get the full strength of my wrath for another hour, not until his 7th or 8th try. But before I could say a word, this automated voice took over the phone lines. This call is subject to being monitored and recorded, said a soft, feminine voice with just a hint of warning to it. The operator came back on. Do you accept the charges? Now I was again to automatically say no, But I stopped to wonder if I was somehow magically able to connect him to a real phone mate. Wouldn't he mind if a third party was listening? Was his morale so low that he's willing to let some government employee hear his desperation? Or maybe somebody listening to him have phone sex was just an added thrill. I don't know. And I don't know why I even bothered to waste my time, my valuable remaining brain space on issues like this. No, I tried to be civil. I do not, will not accept the charges. I went back to the line that I didn't give a chance to. It could be one of the phone mates calling to say she had done a call. And that would be a good thing, as I had requests lining up, new customers to give to the good talkers, and one difficult one to fill. To fill. Now, how lame is that? I can't even use normal words, and I find a way to denigrate them. I felt like a 10-year-old kid whose mom says, "Get me the buns." "Sorry to keep you on hold. Can I help you?" "Hi, hello," the rough voice began. "Is this secret affair?" "Yeah, sure," I said. I didn't know anymore. The big boss had added a few more company names to the list. I went with anything that sounded like sex was involved. "Tell me about Uranus, okay?" "It's a planet." Click. I wished that I had kept him on hold a while longer. Releasing him from my life meant that I had to accept another cretin. That line's ring just burst forth immediately, taunting me. "Hi, can I help you?" "You have a collect call from a correct," the operator began. "Let me guess, Frankie," I said sarcastically, as if I were happy to hear from him. "A correctional institute?" the operator continued. She was a good employee. Her voice was one level, very controlled. "Caller, state your name." "Frankie!" came back, a hint more lively than I've heard in months. I guess he bought my act. Then that ominous recording played. The operator, who probably had her own disconnect finger on standby, asked if I accepted the charges, and the rest played out as normal. I went to line number 6. This was somebody who would call every 3 days or so. I don't know what his deal was. At first he irritated me, but now I was really digging him, or her. Well, here's the background. In the past, when this person called, they wouldn't say a word. There would just be some Bollywood music on in the background, or sometimes symphony, sometimes country. Initially, I would hang up if they didn't respond to my greetings. But once I liked the song that they were playing, it was one of my favorites, "Pump It Up" by Elvis Costello. And after my first 3, "Hello, can I help yous?" I just decided to listen to the song. Sometimes I had him on hold for hours, if he had on the right music. I wish he'd figure out that I was into the 70s and 80s tunes. Tonight it was rap music. Not my favorite, but at least it tied up a phone line. I kept him on hold and went to line number 1. "Hi, Richard, you still there?" "Yes," he replied agreeably, "still here. Can I get a girl to call me?" I had a couple of girls just about done their 30 minutes, so I knew I could place a call with one of them. And there was still that distasteful one to fill. "I just need to get your preference. What kind of girl would you like to have call you back?" I asked. "Do you want a dominant girl? Maybe a busty blonde?" "How would you like your coffee? Black? Double?" "I want a blonde, shaved pussy, likes doggy style, 'cause I like to fuck sluts up the ass. And I want to be deep-throated, and I want to lick her cunt." "Yes, Richard," I interrupted. "I think I have enough." "Okay," Richard jumped in, "but I want to get the right girl. Can you repeat my preference to me?" "Hold just a moment, please," I said, not waiting again for his approval. I knew his game. I wasn't born yesterday. Sure, when I started this job, it seemed like I was constantly pulling placenta off me. I may as well be living in a convent. I was so naive. Line number 2 was dead, so I went to line number 4. Hi, Vic. Sorry, can I get your credit card number, please? The new caller gave me a decent-sounding MasterCard number. And the expiry date? The expiration date is July of 1993, he said. Instantly, Miss Professional's spidey senses tingled. Could a legit adult make that error in wording? Maybe a drunk would. I was unsure if this kid was doing a fairly good job of impersonating an adult or if he was the real deal. He went back into crappy hold music land. I was avoiding line number 3 because I was hoping it wasn't boring Susan/Sarah. She had been off for a couple weeks. Rumor had it that she was fired. Dared to speak up to Harold about the lack of calls she had and took a walk. Now she was back, but only as a floater. She could sign on whenever she wished, or we could call her if we were really stuck, which was never. Sure enough, it was her. Hey, Susan began to complain. Don't write me up for going over 30 minutes. I've been on hold for over 5 minutes. Okay, I'm glad you're done. I raced on. I've got a call for you. I can't believe how busy I am, she enthused. Guess you guys decided I'm worth keeping on. I checked her schedule. She'd signed on at 8. It was now 2 a.m. So in 6 hours, she'd gotten 5 calls. That was a sweepstakes for her. When she would work the 3 to 11 shift with me, I'd often give her no calls at all. But this 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift was go, go, go. I'd have way more customers than I had phone mates, and still I'd be slow to give a call to Susan. I'm not involved in the decision-making, Susan. I'm just the operator, I reminded her. But maybe Harold did read my scathing comments in the report book. Well, the last guy will probably call me again, she dreamed. He said I moaned a lot. I bet some girls just moan a little. I can moan the whole 30 minutes if I need to. I wanted to scream at her, don't you get it? But I just listened to that little red devil sitting on my shoulder. The guy, the one with the nice white robe who sat on the other shoulder. On hiatus, a sabbatical, quit in disgust, I don't know. I haven't seen him in some time. But the devil, he just whispered, give her that call. Well, I got a new caller, I said briskly. I gave her the name and number, and she was ready to make the call. Wait, Susan, he has a preference. Oh, I hate it when they get fancy, Susan/Sarah pouted. What am I, 18? Dominant? No, you're to take a dump, and he wants you to measure the turds. Ew, she groaned. Can I refuse him? On what grounds? I logically asked. Some phone mates had certain calls they would not make, and for some reason, management would usually allow this. Some would not do rape fantasies, and they're lost financially, sad to say. Some would not do incest, but the rest was pretty much green-lighted. It was the busiest time of night. This was when the night shift staff became workhorses. Call after call, just looking for Mr. Right, who was either a regular customer or who really wanted that call and fit our criteria. And is the phone listed in your name? Well, I'm calling from a cellulite phone. Hold, please, as I go to another line. Would you like to place an order, sir? How long do I get to talk? Up to 30 minutes of unrestricted conversation, I say. Even if I had said restricted conversation, I doubt they'd notice. They'd probably think R-rated. And how do you gauge when the 30 minutes are up? He asked. Well, by a clock? Come on. Hold, please. Sometimes these sick pigs, they didn't bother me as much as the guys who only went as far as kindergarten. I picked up a ringing line. Hello, can I? Hi, it's Grace. I'm done, and I think I'm going to sign off, said Grace/Tiffany. She had done a shift from 3 to 11, but decided to stay on as it was hopping. Oh no, I wailed. Can't you do one more call? It's a request from Sheldon. Sheldon, Grace echoed. Oh, I'll do Sheldon. He's nice. That stopped me for a moment. One of these guys is nice? I had to laugh, I told her. He called and he said he'd like to order fantasy fulfillment. And he asked if you could wear high heels, garter stockings, and a see-through bra. Hang on a second while I get dressed. There, got the whole outfit on now, Grace joked. I knew she was more than likely in her favorite jammies with the feetsies. Anyhow, Sheldon is sweet. He won't take long. Grace, you're saying he's nice, he's sweet, for God's sakes. He's calling for phone sex, I reminded her. Excuse me. There was a momentary pause before Grace got back to me. Maybe we're good for some people. He's got needs, you know. He told me. His wife is uptight about sex, and all Sheldon wants is to hear how sexy I look and how much I want him. In 10 minutes, he comes, he says thank you, and I've done my part. He won't cheat on his wife, he told me. So now he'll go to bed, he'll lift her nightie, think of me, stick it in her, and their marriage is safe. I murmured. I'm going to digest that. You make the call. I answered the next line that was lighting up. After my affable greeting, the operator just asked if I would accept a collect call. I wanted to hang up without hearing. We never accept collect calls. But occasionally, Harold may call collect from Cozumel or Martha's Vineyard. I hadn't seen him in a few weeks, but you could still feel his presence. After the usual rigmarole with the operator, who should it be on the other line but my good friend Frankie? Do you accept the charges? How to make Frankie understand? No, operator, I do not accept. And operator, could you please tell Frankie that we will never accept? There is no possible way he is ever going to have the call. And I wish you would stop trying this number forever. I gave this speech with my teeth gritted the whole time. The operator came back to me in her tightly controlled voice, which really sounded identical to the one that I just used. Ma'am, would you like to accept the charges and tell him yourself? No, Frankie, I yelled. Don't call here anymore, Frankie. I slammed the phone down, realizing a split second too late that I shouldn't also be taking it out on the operator. I went to line number 6, left everybody on hold for a minute, and listened to a rapper sing about motherfuckers getting down with the hoes and bitches. Scene. Okay, gonna end it there. Gonna come back to you with episode 4 of chapter 5. And after this, only one chapter left. So thank you for sticking with me, and we'll see you coming up soon.